Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. I am Twyla Thompson with the details. Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation and Sustainable Development and Member of Parliament for North Leeward, Dr. Kishore Shallow, has reminded Parliament that this is the second time an NDP government has returned to office to lead the country. Contributing to the 2026 budget debates in Parliament on Tuesday, Dr. Shallow said that with less than 72 days in office, it is far too early for anyone, including the opposition leader, to pass judgment on what the new Democratic Party, the NDP administration, will achieve.
This country, Madam Speaker, once born under the weights of silent oppression like the Great Fire of Rome during the reign of Emperor Nero. People were suffocated by a governance that treated them as subjects as opposed to citizens. But already the people see the intention of this new government to serve with dignity, with purpose, and with vision. Travel across the entire country, Madam Speaker, and you feel the air. It is lighter, it is freer, and filled with hope. You hear it in the voices of our people, once muted, I remind us all, now speak in liberation. And they scream saying the heavy weight that once pressed upon their lives has begun to lift. Madam Speaker, we are just getting started. I want to convey and remind them of what the Deputy Prime Minister said recently. He told them to take their pads off because indeed this is going to be a long knock from this government.
Given his full support to the national budget, Dr. Shallow said the 2026 budget presentation by Minister of Finance and Prime Minister Dr. Godwin Friday demonstrates prudent financial stewardship. He noted that the budget ensures balanced fiscal management and positions the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to keep their heads above water as they navigate what he described as the turbulent seas left behind by the former ULP administration.
Had it not been for the New Democratic Party coming into office, Madam Speaker, we would have sunk in the depths of despair, and that is the reality. Madam Speaker, the 2026 budget, from rescue to resilience, is grounded in fiscal discipline for the people of this blessed land. It is a budget that speaks to a one-nation transformational agenda, as we heard from our Prime Minister yesterday. Madam Speaker, the government before taking office spent the last few years in the trenches with our people, listening to their cries, feeling their pain, and seeing their suffering. On the campaign trail, we promised we will put people first. We repeated that on the campaign. We have already been delivering accordingly. I suspect some of the achievements in the first 60 days is what had the performance that we saw this morning, as we did. VAT-free day, Madam Speaker. A massive success. You couldn't understand the figures. Bazidi. Reinstatement of the victims of the vaccine mandate with all benefits restored. Bonus and salary. You heard the Honorable Prime Minister yesterday stating that in a short order, very short order, public assistance will increase to $500. Promise made, promise kept, Madam Speaker.
Dr. Shallow pointed out that many citizens at the lower end of the income scale are struggling to make ends meet, emphasizing that only those carrying the burden truly understand its weight. He said the NDP government has hit the ground running, placing the needs of people first while exercising prudence in managing the country's resources.
Yes, of course, would love to do even more, but governance demands balance. Compassion must be matched with fiscal responsibility. We must lift those at the bottom while ensuring the stability of the national purse. That is not contradiction, Madam Speaker. That is true leadership. I again reaffirm the declaration of the Honorable Prime Minister yesterday. There are absolutely no new taxes in this budget. Madam Speaker, honorable members, for a moment this morning, I had to ask myself if the honorable opposition leader is suffering from amnesia. What we heard from him this morning regarding tax and relief was not simply inconsistency, but intellectual dishonesty of the highest order. It is the conduct of a political schemer, not a statement or a patriot as he proclaimed. I dare say the honorable member cannot fake forgetfulness in this house. He knows the fiscal condition in which he left this country. It was only a few weeks ago, Madam Speaker. He knows the treasury was constrained. He knows the latitude for maneuver was narrow. And yet he rises to speak as though he were a stranger to the very consequences of his own administration.
Minister Shallow further noted the administration intends to balance the books by increasing revenue from productive sectors and reducing borrowing. Dr. Shallow, whose ministry has been allocated $48 million in the 2026 budget to undertake several enhancement projects, said other areas of the budget will also complement and support the tourism sector. For the constituency of North Leeward, Dr. Shallow announced plans for a major recreational development initiative, including the Tromuka Bottom Bay Recreational Development Project. The project is designed to enhance community life, support tourism growth, and stimulate economic activity within North Leeward. It is expected to commence by mid-year 2026. Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Rural Transformation, Israel Bruce, Minister, has outlined the country's policy direction to transform the agricultural sector from what he described as a state of rescue to one of resilience. Contributing to the debate on the national budget, Minister Bruce pointed to the shocks of recent years, including the COVID-19 pandemic, the eruption of La Soufrière volcano, inflation, and disruptions to the global supply chain, which he said severely affected the agriculture sector in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Minister Bruce stated that the government has adopted the view that agriculture is paramount to attaining food security and food sovereignty.
Agriculture is not simply about farming. Agriculture is about food on the table. It is about livelihoods in our rural communities. It is about import substitution. It is about foreign exchange savings. You remember that reference this morning? You remember the $10 in the air this morning? Agriculture is about foreign exchange savings. It is about employment. It is about stability. And it is about national self-reliance.
Minister Bruce assured Parliament that over the next 4 years and beyond, the ministry will make it its duty to respond to the needs of farmers across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. These needs include creating reliable markets, addressing parallel larceny, and improving access roads to farming communities.
Madam Speaker, in alignment with the government's policies, agriculture is one of the 4 pillars contributing to economic growth and the creation of economic opportunities. There is a shift in public spending away from broad consumption-based support towards targeted investment that enhance productivity, diversity in the economy, and reduce structural vulnerabilities. This is not an accidental, stumbled upon position, Madam Speaker, honorable members. Instead, It is a decisive transition to rescue measures from a framework for durable, inclusive, and sustainable growth.
Minister Bruce further told Parliament that while short-term interventions were necessary to protect livelihoods and maintain macroeconomic stability, the current strategy priorities resilience by strengthening productive capacity, improving efficiency, and attracting private investment.
For St. Vincent and the Grenadines, agriculture remains a cornerstone of food security, rural livelihood, export earning, and climate resilience. In a small, open, shock-prone economy, the agricultural sector continues to play a dual role, Madam Speaker, honorable members, in protecting household livelihoods in times of crisis, whilst at the same time providing a pathway for inclusive growth and economic transformation. Fiscal discipline. Madam Speaker, we have to, by means of the work we do, look at the gradual rationalization of blanket subsidies and emergency support in favor of targeted time-bound interventions.
Minister Bruce also criticized the former ULP administration, stating that some individuals in the agriculture sector worked up to 41 years as daily paid workers, a situation he described as a crime under a Labour government. He said this issue will be corrected by the NDP administration, which intends to compensate those workers appropriately and ensure they receive benefits upon retirement. The Agriculture Minister also announced plans for a new greenhouse development program aimed at supporting young farmers and increasing agricultural production. He explained that the initiative will focus on the installation and delivery of greenhouse systems to strengthen modern farming practices and improve crop yields. Funding for the program will include support from the Unleashing the Blue Economy of the Caribbean (UBEC) initiative, along with financing through a World Bank loan. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment will undergo changes aimed to improving access to high-quality healthcare services. A total of $117.5 million has been allocated to the ministry. A comprehensive health reform agenda will be implemented to better cater to the needs of Vincentians. Part of this agenda includes strengthening medical staffing with local personnel, which will also involve the phased reduction of Cuban medical officers.
We are building a system that is resilient to shocks and responsive to local needs. Accordingly, we are implementing a human resources for health plan, aligning skills with service demand and addressing critical staffing gaps. We will also begin a 3-year phase-out of the Reliance and Cuban district medical officers, starting with the recruitment of 4 local medical officers in 2026 to address language barriers and reduce foreign staffing costs. They may be redeployed elsewhere as needed. Decentralizing diagnostic services, strengthening laboratory quality systems to increase patient access to community laboratories from 8% to 18% in 2026.
The expansion of services is also expected across all clinics nationwide. Work on the Arnersville Hospital will continue, along with major repairs to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. Airports in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been allocated $62 million in this year's budget. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. Godwin Friday, said the airports will receive major upgrades and operational improvements. The Canouan Airport has been allocated $40 million, while the Argyle International Airport will receive $14 million. The Prime Minister highlighted ongoing runway challenges at the Argyle International Airport, which have resulted in flight disruptions, noting that a permanent fix will be undertaken.
Distressing to note that the runway at Argyle International Airport has been experiencing surface challenges, to put it mildly, in some areas for a long time now, and that over the years this problem has required frequent interventions to patch up the damaged sections. This has resulted in flight disruptions and modifications. The work required to fix the runway permanently was delayed and not done under the previous government. Given the critical importance of the airport to our economy and personal mobility, it is unfathomable why this was so. As such, the government has commissioned consultants who are conducting a comprehensive technical study of the underlying problems causing the frequent damages to the runway. We are awaiting the findings and recommendations of this study.
Meanwhile, the J.F. Mitchell Airport in Beckwith and the Union Island Airport have been allocated a combined total of $2.4 million. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a new permanent representative to the United Nations. Her Excellency Vinette Frederick presented her credentials to His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, at UN headquarters in New York on Monday, February 9th, 2026. Her Excellency Frederick was publicly announced as permanent representative on January 22nd, 2026, alongside several other newly appointed heads of mission and consulate. The group includes Brenton Horn, High Commissioner designated to the United Kingdom, Angela Idisha Jackson, Ambassador designate to the Republic of Cuba, Kenton Chance, Ambassador designate to the Republic of China and Taiwan, and Roland Matthews, Consul General designate to New York. In a press release, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, Foreign Investment and Diaspora Affairs congratulated Her Excellency Frederick on this important milestone and expressed confidence in her continued leadership in promoting the interests, foreign policy objectives, and development priorities of St. Vincent and the Grenadines on the international stage. The program of events for the celebration of National Heroes and Heritage Month 2026 was launched yesterday at the UE Global Campus site at French's in Kingstown. The activities, which will run from March 6th to the 15th, 2026, underscored the importance of preserving and promoting the Garifuna culture. Delivering the keynote address, TGHF President David Darkey Williams highlighted the significance of Garifuna heritage, describing it as a vital part of the nation's cultural identity. He stressed that educating the public about Garifuna history and traditions and contributions is essential to ensuring its preservation for future generations.
This year, our program contains our regular events as well as a couple of new items. The International Garifuna Conference is a staple for us during the course of National Heroes and Heritage Month. And secondly, the school's Garifuna Festival is also a staple. And with these two staples, we can add other things, and we will add other things from time to time that would help to enhance what we are trying to educate the public about.
Williams noted that Garifuna heritage is one of the great importance, and it is their responsibility to ensure that people understand and appreciate its value. He noted that increased awareness and education will play a key role in strengthening cultural pride and unity within communities.
Last year, we introduced one of those new items, and it was an essay competition. That competition was, I can't say it was well subscribed to, because in any case, we started late on that. But there was that essay competition, and although we did not have this crush of entries, the quality of the few submissions we got was so excellent, and that is putting it mildly. We knew immediately after reading the entries, we knew we had to continue with this and make sure we get it out early. That has been done. So
Williams also outlined the Foundation's ongoing initiatives, including its popular essay competition. He announced that the competition will continue, describing it as a meaningful feature on the Foundation's calendar of activities. According to Williams, the competition has encouraged young people to research and reflect on Garifuna history and culture, further advancing the Foundation's educational mission.
We look forward to, if not equal, surpass what we got last year. As a matter of fact, those presentations that placed first, second, and third were read at the national conference. And it was so impactful that one American businessman, he's a Garifuna man from Central America, he was in that audience, and he committed himself to financing or to offering finances for the continuation of this essay competition into the next 3 years. With that sort of talent being displayed, it would have been impossible for us to have a celebration again this year without including the essay competition. And
the launch event brought together members of the media, cultural advocates, and supporters, all of whom expressed optimism about the Foundation's future efforts to celebrate and safeguard Garifuna heritage. The Garifuna Heritage Foundation aims to expand its programs in the coming months, maintaining a strong focus on education, community engagement, and cultural preservation. Head of site at the University of the West Indies UWI Global Campus in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Risa Noel McBarnett, has reaffirmed the institution's commitment to cultural preservation during remarks at the media launch for the Garifuna Heritage Foundation's month of activities to celebrate Heroes and Heritage Month 2026. Speaking at the event, Noel McBarnett emphasized that the UWI Global Campus, SVG, is proud to continue its support of the Garifuna Heritage Foundation and its initiatives aimed at celebrating and safeguarding Garifuna culture. She noted that the ongoing partnership between the university and the foundation serves as a strong example of dedication to cultural preservation and meaningful community engagement within the region.
It is worth noting that the UWI rose in the Times Higher Education World University Rankings for 2026, placing us among the top 3.6% of higher education institutions worldwide. Yes. According to a release by the UWI Regional Headquarters on January 22nd, of more than 33,000 universities and higher degree granting institutions globally, only 2,191 from 115 countries qualified for ranking in the 2025 year-end assessment. The Times Higher Education Rankings measure performance across teaching, research, knowledge transfer, and international outlook. The release stated that the UWI continues to improve its relative position as the number of ranked universities increases each year.
Noel McBarnett highlighted the collaborations such as this not only strengthens awareness of Garifuna history and traditions, but also creates opportunities for education and dialogue. She added that UWI remains committed to supporting initiatives that foster regional identity and promote a deeper understanding of the Caribbean's rich cultural heritage.
The release further stated that whether through pioneering climate change research, advances in public health, contributions to arts and culture, economic development initiatives, or social justice advocacy, the UWI continues to deliver outsized results despite fiscal and financial constraints. In conclusion, the University of the West Indies Global Campus here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is proud to continue our support of the Garifuna Heritage Foundation's 13th International Garifuna Conference. This partnership exemplifies our commitment to cultural preservation, academic collaboration, and community engagement in the region. We are grateful for the opportunity, along with our fellow partners, to contribute to the success of this important conference, as well as the events for the entire month, and look forward to continuing our support for the advancement of Garifuna culture and heritage in the future.
The media launch marked the start of a series of activities planned to celebrate Garifuna heritage, with organizers expressing appreciation for the continued institutional support that helps make the observances possible. The illegal dumping of garbage along roadsides and beaches in Argyll has been highlighted as a growing concern by the Central Water and Sewerage Authority, CWSA. A visit involving the CWSA's Public Relations and Marketing Department, along with members of the media, was conducted yesterday at Argyll Beach. En route to the beach, derelict vehicles and piles of garbage were observed along the sides of the road. At the beach, Public Relations Officer Joan Ryan expressed concern over what she described as a blatant disregard shown by individuals who continue to dump garbage in the area.
This is an area where we used to recreate before the international airport was constructed. There is still a bypass road here, and unfortunately, persons from perhaps out of the community have seen it fit to come in this area and dump garbage. When we came around here and I looked at the condition of the area, I am really appalled, because our islands are small. Just because somebody cannot see something in their backyard doesn't mean that somebody else can't see it in theirs. So what we're seeing here is that someone has taken the garbage from their backyard and they have brought it into somebody else's backyard. This is an area where people come down just to get a feel of the ocean, feel the breeze on the coming off the ocean. But when you come into this area, the first thing you see is the garbage.
Ryan is calling on all stakeholders, including the police, to collaborate in addressing the growing scourge, which she said is unacceptable under any circumstances.
Well, initially, from our internal discussions at CWSA, we have to ensure that some kind of plan is put in place to immediately remove what we are seeing here. But that is not sustainable. It can't be sustainable from a one agency standpoint. There has to be monitoring. There has to be continued cleanup if this occurs. The law must become involved as well. It has to be something immediately. We can remove this. We can remove what you're seeing here. But it doesn't mean that persons are not going to throw back stuff. So the police are going to have to become involved. Other agencies have to become involved, keeping the roadsides clean, making the area look as if it's an area where economic activity can take place.
Also touring the affected areas was Environmental Health Officer stationed at the Argyle International Airport, Ralph Williams. He noted that the airport is located just behind the area where the dumping occurs and explained that the dense vegetation makes the location attractive to persons seeking to dispose of waste illegally.
Which I believe there's more sites where you have indiscriminate, I can't use a better word, that indiscriminate, systematic dumping. And looking at the kind of waste, you have construction material. With the foresight, you have construction material. You have white goods, the form of appliances. We have things from mechanic shop, and we have household waste. And it's very disheartening. It's very disheartening that the sanitary landfill is just about 3 miles away. So I don't know. I'm appalled to know that some persons in the community will shortcut and just come and discard the waste. So we are making an effort. And making the effort doesn't mean that the persons in the community is not exempt, because they are part and parcel of this initiative. One, they have to look out for the community. Two, if they are in fact doing any dumping, they are to desist.
Williams said he will be personally monitoring the area over time to help curb the practice. The CWSA stated that efforts will be made to remove the waste in due course, but they are appealing to the public to take greater pride in their surroundings and help maintain a clean environment.